Welcome to a podcast from Anit. This week we are joined by Dan Bridges and Emily McGuiness.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. The unburied dead are coming back to life, seeking human victims.
Dan, Emily, how's it going?
Awesome.
It's great. You guys?
Nah, we're doing pretty good. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I had the day off. I was lucky. And I did a lot of stuff on Fallout 76. That's all I did.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Are you guys big
Play
video
video
game?
Yeah.
You guys play video games?
We are not allowed
No.
in our home. I think both of us fell off at like the third Gears of War because we did nothing else.
All
literally.
I did, I drank so much soda and I ate so many Cheez-Its and I did not move. And it was like me as a Cartman situation. It was absolutely horrific. No one needs to see that, and I don't need to be that. So I'm not allowed. There's quite a few things I'm not allowed to do anymore, and one is game.
Hey, Gears of War 3, the good storyline, though. I was hooked, too.
Yeah.
I played the heck out of that. And when I finished it, I was sad. But
All right, so my first question, this is going to go to both of you. And this is
Okay.
our icebreaker we do for the episodes. Favorite horror movie?
All right, hit it. No, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
No, she's.
Uh,
You need prompting because I can.
No.
Okay.
One of, because there's so many genres. How can you pick genres? Would be the classic Night of the Living Dead.
Awesome pick. No one's picked that one yet.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, no one has.
I love it because it is basically an indie film that was scrappy, like made it on its own, had something accidentally culturally relevant to say, despite probably that not being its intent. Made tons of money, and I would say is a success in one way or another. So I'm Barbara.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I thought you were going to say The Ring. I really did. I thought you were gonna say that. Well, it's really tough. Like sometimes I get like, what's the definition of a horror movie, right? Because like one of the movies that always comes to mind is The Exorcist, because it's absolutely the scariest movie that I've ever seen in my entire life, still to this day. But it's not really. I don't know if you would consider that a horror movie or not, but it's absolutely just scares the living crap out of me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, we consider that a horror movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way as you, dude. When I watched that the first time, I was.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
and
like
still to this day, it freaks me out as well.
Yeah, like the music, and then you can so like I saw it a long time ago, and then I saw like the director's cut, and then she's going down the stairs backwards on her hands and stuff. That wasn't in the original thing, and I was like,
like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, it's even freakier. And just the stories behind it, and like it's absolutely a genius film. Absolutely, that's pretty much top.
Yeah, I think I enjoy watching the behind the scenes of that movie just as much as the movie. I mean, the director shooting the gun and smacking
breaking her coccyx.
Yeah.
She broke her coccyx. I mean, they like pumped it so cold in there that it was like, just absolutely insane. So like the actual stuff, it's just a brilliantly made movie, and I really enjoy it because it's also one of those movies where it's kind of one of those slow burns, and you kind of got this thing, and it's you're wondering where it's going, and they do all the right stuff. She takes Reagan to the hospital and talks to doctors, and it's not like 2 minutes into the movie or whatever, it's like, it's a demon, it's like it made sense because she tried everything else, and then she was like, I don't know what to do, and now it's like, here's this priest. And
but everyone does forget it's a very 70s opening.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
you don't really like absorb the opening in your mind. You just try to like take in the fact that it's like Indiana Jones in the beginning.
Jack's on shadows out there.
like,
Just gloss over that part.
It's definitely one of those movies that I wish if I had not known anything about it before I watched it. If you just sat down about it and you're like, oh, look, it's a period piece or whatever, and then all of a sudden when it kicks in, you're just like, what the fuck?
Well, kind of like Psycho, right? Like those people had absolutely no idea what they were getting into when they walked in the theater. That movie changed how people went to the movies, because of the reveal. They didn't want people to know what was going to happen. Back then, people walked into movies whenever it was playing. They'd start in the middle and they just watch the end, and then they'd catch the beginning and then walk out. There was no times, all that kind of stuff. And it was like, no, man, you actually have to sit in the beginning to the end for this movie. And so, yeah.
Yes, I wonder, Psycho probably had the first spoiler-free review.
Yeah.
Well, and, the advertisements back then, I'm really like, I really dig the old stuff, like the movies from the 70s and 80s, like, don't go in the cellar or whatever. And it says don't. And then you see someone screaming, it says don't, And now it's like, hey, the new movie's coming out next week. And then the following week, they show a little bit more. And then a little, I get what you're saying, man. I miss those times too, where you were surprised when you went. And you sat through the whole thing and you're like, dude, you got to see this movie. And then like a month later, it's out. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the last movie that actually did that, it's not a horror movie, but was like $1 Million Baby. Like I had no idea that she got messed up at the end. Like I was like, oh, this is a boxing movie, lady box. Oh, my neck, So you're like, oh my God, no, it's
assisted suicide.
Like, no, this movie changed really fast.
Yeah, it did.
All right, so Dan, well, first of all, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you very much.
And how did you get into acting?
Oh wow, like this long time ago. I was in San Francisco, and I was working, a desk job, and really was annoyed with it and was bored, and I really wanted to do something, kind of crazy. And there was this audition for Tony and Tina's Wedding. Have you ever heard of that show? It's like a dinner theater. So I auditioned for dinner theater. I booked it, and I did it for a year, and I got moved up and everything. And then I started like actually learning how to act, because I was just running around like an idiot. It was fun, and I had a really great time. And then I actually started to study, and but it was in San Francisco, and started a theater company up there. And then at some point I got really, 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 really stupid and decided to come to LA. And the rest is a very, really boring history.
What about stunt work? How'd you get into that?
Oh, randomly. So I'm at work. I work as every actor does, as a waiter, and I'm there, and I'm my phone just absolutely blows up, right? And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And I finally take the call. I'm like, it's the middle of a shift. And he goes, dude, my buddy's like, dude, you got to get down to Riley Studios right now, man. Freaking Kiefer Sutherland, they need a stunt double for him right now. Go, go, go. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? Then the guy calls me back, the stunt coordinator, and he's like, dude, you got to call. You got to send me photos. And I'm in the middle of a shift. My buddy's taking photos of me. We're running outside trying to take photos. I got to get off work early. I had a beard. I was looking mighty, mighty shaggy at the time. And I walk in, and it's for touch for Kiefer Sutherland, and he walks by me, and he kind of, you know, they cut me on, they shear me, they like cut my hair and stuff like that, and he walks by me, and he's like, and he goes, all right, and then he walks away. And then I was a stunt double for a while, and then I had to learn how to do stunts real fast because things got kind of crazy.
Which is why we made the web series The Fall Dude.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you guys checked it.
Yeah, I was watching some of that. I really enjoyed it. It was interesting.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
What was like the main inspiration for that?
Getting cast as Kiefer Sutherland stunt double, and then being like, all right, you got to do it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And it was, yeah.
Getting launched off of things.
Yeah.
Getting hit by cars, driving cars.
What was the movie you were the stunt double for?
Well, it was for Touch for him.
Touch. Okay.
That TV show. I mean, it was his that middle one that didn't do so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. But yeah, his you know, he'd done a bunch of 24s, and then he did that one, and then after that was Designated Survivor. You know, and as Designated Survivor, he's just like, you know, wandering around the halls and stuff. So it was fun. And then I always seem to go like backwards. Like I get the job, and then I actually have to figure out how to do it, as opposed to actually like learning and training and then getting the job. But yeah, it was fun, and you know, getting to drive, like stunt driving, is absolutely freaking fun.
Oh, I bet. What was worst injury you've gotten on the set?
Actually, sets were pretty good, man. I actually literally got ran over by a car walking down the street, and so it kind of ended everything for me. I was going to work in Atlanta, and I had the light, and I was in the thing, and guy just literally ran me over. He was making a turn and like just broke a bunch of bones and, you know, all kinds of weird stuff. So yeah, I kind of had to quickly adjust from that one.
Film sets were real safe compared to that.
Yeah.
I mean, getting lit on fire was like, you know, I was nervous, but it was fine. You know, getting hit by an actual car, not, you know, without knowledge of it, was really painful. I do not recommend it for your listening audience.
I'll try to remember
that.
Yeah. What was it you got set on fire for?
That was for The Fall Dude. Yeah. I did some.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, you know, I could not imagine, like, it was so scary to see your hand on fire. Like it was, and I was, oh my God, it was so scary. My entire arm's like just up on flames. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. This is good. This is good. Oh my God, you know. So those screams were real.
Well, and we spent the whole day like preparing for it. We you have to do all of this like safety precaution stuff, like wet down the grass, and like you only get like one take maybe. Yeah. So we had like fire extinguishers ready, and you know, he was really, really gelled up.
Yeah.
So that in a suit, but it was still incredible to see because it goes, you know, all the way up his arm.
Yeah, when I was a dumb teenager, we found out that hey, you can pour alcohol on your hand and light it, and it doesn't burn you. So I put it on my hand, and then like a dummy, I raised my arm up, and it ran all the way down.
Yeah.
So I set my entire arm on fire.
Woo!
Oh yeah,
that's a good night.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what's like out of everything you've worked on, what was your favorite project that you've worked on?
Well, it was a movie that never really actually happened. It was kind of an adult Goonies. I worked on House of Cards, and I worked on Parks and Rec, and you know, a bunch of, you know, Longmire and a bunch of stuff like that, and they were all really fun and you know, but that was kind of my first like whole thing. Like I got to jump onto a moving helicopter. I got to, like, you know, it was just all kinds of fun, plane, not a helicopter, but just all kinds of fun, crazy stuff. And it was my first main gig, and I was really I was just really excited, and I had to prep, and it was intense. And yeah, it never saw the light of day, but that was my absolute favorite experience as on screen. And then I've done some amazing like theater work. My favorite is Tracers, which was written by a bunch of Vietnam vets, and we did it here at the USVAA, which is the United States Veterans Artists Alliance, and it was with an all-veteran cast, and it was an absolute incredible experience.
So what was can you talk more about the movie that I guess didn't happen?
McTaggart's Fortune. Yeah. It was basically like an adult Goonies, you know, with but a little bit scarier. Ghosts, you know, people popping out of skeletons and pirates and all that kind of stuff. And there was 3 of us, and we found the map to the treasure and ended up having to, you know, figure out what's going on because these ghosts are killing these kids. And it was really fun. It was a really, like, you know, adventurous, crazy stuff. And I played the idiot savant who would, you know, just run into places and, you know, start fighting ghosts with, you know, start kicking things and just doing all the fun, crazy, stupid things. The other 2 had the romance. I was just the idiot sidekick. So I really enjoyed that. I don't know why, but it seemed to fit me well.
So, like, what happened to that project? Why did it not?
You know, it just kind of, the budget just wasn't there. There was a bunch of stuff that needed to be shot afterwards, and the funding just kind of died. And then we all got a lot older, and and it just wouldn't work. You know, and then you can't reshoot. You got to reshoot the whole thing because of the amount of money, and it just didn't. It just never like really made it. It just never made it.
I was gonna say maybe you could just do like a 20 years later and then in a nursing home.
We've been thinking about it just because we loved it so much and it was just so much fun. We've been thinking about a way to revive it. So it's a thought out there in the world.
All right, that sounds pretty cool. Emily, tell us about Dead Stinky Animals.
Yeah, it's my second book. It is a kid's book, in quotes, I would say. It is an alphabet book with a whole bunch of animals that happen to be dead. It was a weird idea that like blossomed out of boredom of doing the convention circuit, the comic convention circuit. You're always at your table, like you're waiting for people to come up to you. And I was in a booth with a friend and we were just sketching. And I was like, oh, here's this animal. Ha ha, so cute. Like, I'm going to put X's for eyes. And, oh, and by the way, it's been dead for a long time. So it also smells real bad. He's like, oh my God, that's so cute. He's over there selling these little zombie dolls. Little zombie plushies that are like cute as can be. And I'm like, cute? Yes, that's great. Why not make a whole book out of it?
So is it just, I mean, obviously I haven't read it, but is it just the ABCs? You're learning ABCs with dead animals? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly like it sounds. It's got a couple pages of each letter, and I went around and like sold it during conventions and stuff like that. And it was always the dads who came up to me and said, my wife would never let me buy this, but I really love it. And then they'd stuff it in their bag very quickly.
Nice. Aaron, you got any questions?
I think we had a problem.
Yeah, I think he may be cutting out on us.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was having some problems earlier with his audio.
Well, I'm glad you pay for Zoom.
Yeah, I know. Oh, there he is. You got any questions, Aaron?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to touch on their graphic novel or their comic book, whatever you want to call it. I did want to touch on that. I listened to a little bit of an interview y'all did on a different show, and I was just wondering how like any of these characters, are you drawn from anybody that you kind of know or met or anything for these characters in this book?
Yeah. So, one of the things that I was looking for was to, put people that are not normally in horror movies in horror movies, because a lot of times it's very, specific, and I wanted to put, and so there's a few things and some themes and stuff in the book, and one of them was kind of broken people, and broken in different ways, and used, and I'm a vet. I have most of my friends are vets. I'm in a veteran group, and coming back to, I guess, reality, however people want to call it, coming back to that is so very different and weird. And because there's like a switch, of like, our society is very, it's kind of like a game. And right now in this world that we live in right now, it's people are playing different games, right? People are playing by different rules because they're getting different information and whatever. And what I wanted to have is that these people were kind of like pushed or left or like broken in some ways. And so like, Oz is my main character, and he's a vet, and he's kind of gone back to school after he got out, and he doesn't fit into the college life, and he's just kind of, I don't want to say lost, but he's he doesn't connect with anybody. And then Terrence, I like in Terrence and his relationship a lot. Terrence is a football player who playing at the highest level, and then like gets hurt to the point where he's not gonna be able to go to the pros. But it's like that school system and the college used him, and now he's like used up. And so what is he able to do? And so I really, those two characters and that bond kind of happen. And then my other characters are Lisa, who she's kind of that person who has just been pushed to do things that by her family, and she doesn't really know what she wants to be inside, but she's like going to Harvard Medical School, but she doesn't really know why. And then Megan is probably my most favorite character of all. She's like this enigmatic artist who sees the patterns and the beauty in the random,
and most likely has schizophrenia.
She has visual schizophrenia, which is something that being an actor in LA, you kind of meet some people that have that.
Yeah, we absolutely do know some of those people that we write about. Like, we have a lot of friends who are A-type personalities, just that you meet in other areas, not necessarily the industry, that have been pushed into whatever career they're in. And yeah, a ton of veterans who are just like our main character, Oz.
Yeah.
So what made you want to do this as a graphic novel and, not like a film or?
Well, I think that it actually, so I wrote a screenplay, and I absolutely, so I didn't know if I could write a horror movie, because I thought like most of the great horror movies have something, something that it connects to, that there's something real. And I don't really like tend to like believe in monsters a lot of times, and like demons. I mean, they scare the shit out of me, like in The Exorcist, but like to write it was very difficult, because like my science stuff and my brain's just like, how does that work with physics? And so I was having a really hard time. And until I read a book called The Girl with All the Gifts, I was kind of stuck. And I read that book, and then I was like, oh, whoa, I can blow this up. I can change the narrative. I can make it something different. And then I wrote the script, and then I don't know if you know any screenwriters in Hollywood, but pretty much everybody in Hollywood is a screenwriter. And yes, everybody has a script. You can go to like the barista
kind of thing.
Yeah. So you can go to the barista and you're like, so what script are you working on? It's like, well, it's like, so everybody has a script. So she came up with the idea of making it into a graphic novel.
And really it's because we can do like huge budget things. And we found such an amazing artist who, initially that is not the style we were going to go with at all. But we found an artist who really services the story in like a cinematic way that we like, but could not be told without, hundreds of millions of dollars, because his panels are beautiful and intricate, and like, you feel time passing, like you still feel the danger. And that's what we love about graphic novels, is what's in between the panels, that it allows you even more imagination, which I think really works for horror, because the scariest monster is always the one that you don't see. And your mind having to fill in those gaps with a graphic novel is just perfect for horror.
Yeah.
So, like, just give us like the basic, like the storyline of what the novel's about.
A bunch of kids from a bunch of college kids at the end of the year go to a rager, end of the world apocalypse party, and they end up unwittingly being pawns in a first person shooter zombie apocalypse game played by the ultra rich.
So it's like the zombie part of it. It's not actual zombies, right? Is that what you're saying? It's just
define zombies. So that's like,
like they're playing like a game there. I mean, it's like a.
Well, no, they're zombies. The thing is that there's the game master creates zombies on different levels through drugs.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to like a pathogen, right? So he creates these zombies that are attacking people, or these I call them the gamers, the like people who actually paid to do this game. And some people are immune to the drug, and some people, because it's based on ecstasy. I did all the science stuff, right? And some people that are on certain chemicals can't get high off of certain drugs because of the reaction. So that's one of the reasons why the broken people and that kind of stuff kind of all fed into it. And so they go to this game, and then all of a sudden, like it's like acid rain comes down, and then people start changing, and then they're like, "What the hell's going on?" And they're stuck in this game. So it's not like the world, like it's not like the entire world is like this pathogen has happened. It's this very small place in this little, in this industrial building that this is happening to. And so I really liked the idea that it's not. It's there's a time on it. It's not like, once zombies happen in the normal world, it just, the scientists have to figure it out. Like, we need a vaccine, or we got to figure out a way to beat them or whatever. This is completely different in a sense of the guy that's making the drugs can make whatever drug and zombie he wants according to the zombie specs that he wants to make. So he can change them according to different levels of the games. So that's the one thing about zombies is like, there's a slow moving Romero zombies. Oh no, now we got to figure out, we got to run.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, if it's the fast ones, then it's like, they can't see in the dark or whatever it is, right? It's like you got to figure out that zombie. But for this, it's each time you go to a different level, then you're with a different zombie. So you don't just get to beat that one type. And then at the end, it's just a big giant, zombie, it's like slow zombies and fast zombies, and, it's like and rage zombies, and they're all just like, and so it's a cornucopia of zombies.
That is an awesome idea. I mean, I'm just saying, that was one of my questions in my head. I was going to say, there's a lot of zombie stuff out there, but I mean, man, you just explained it. I mean, that right there, that's an awesome idea. I really dig it. And I think it kind of speaks to what nowadays, you know, kids and the music, and then they're all about popping pills and everything. I think it kind of speaks to us in a social way as well, you know. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, that's really, you know, when we were talking about Night of the Living Dead, there's just something, the great ones touch on something, right? They touch on us as humans, but they touch on who we are and what we become and how we deal with it. That's what I thought was so great in the beginning of The Walking Dead was your real enemies aren't the zombies, they're the other people, right? And so, you know, people use other people for their entertainment right now and for their dirty work. And that's why the football player and the soldier is that they're out there gladiating for your amusement. And then when they're done, oh, well, yeah, thank you. All right. You know, it's like, well, good luck, you know, bootstraps yourself out and, you know, head that way. And so, but to do it in this context, and then it's like these people are super rich. They're like the 1% of the 1%ers. They're the Rockefellers, right? Mm-hmm. They're the people that play with our society and use us like and pit us against each other so they can get rich. So it's like, and that's what the overall bad guys aren't zombies, because zombies are, you know, zombies are pretty simple. They're not like, you know, complicated creatures. You don't have to have like conversations with them about their motivations, you know, and all that kind of stuff. It's people are much more, you know, horrific than most monsters, because monsters are just doing, you know, it's like, I think it was Chris Rock was talking, it's like that the tiger attacked the zookeeper or something, and they were like, oh, the tiger went crazy. It was like, the tiger didn't go crazy, the tiger went tiger. That's what a tiger does. The tiger attacks people. Like the zombies attack people. That's what they do. Yeah. And you know, it's like it's the person that puts the other person in there that's really fucked up. And so I wanted to bring into that too, is like, you know, what and who would do that? What's their motivation? And then these other people who are like these people are throwaway to me. I will just like, you know, I can do whatever I want to with them. I can use them. I can kill them. You know, it's like these people that came to this party are literally just for my amusement. And that to me is really something that piqued my interest too. But yeah, thank you for saying that, because that was something that meant a lot when I started really getting deep into the story.
Now the art that I've seen on the Instagram, it looks really, really great. Now is that like actual photos that you're turning into?
No.
How is that? Is it?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's his name is Pablo Ayala. He lives in Rosario, Argentina, and we had originally went with a very traditional. We thought maybe like black and white graphic novel style, and we were getting all these submissions, and we just happened to come across Pablo, who had this amazing like gothic mystery story that he had worked on. And he actually paints digitally. You can see on the Instagram some of his process. He'll do like actual sketches, and then he'll paint and like build layers on top of it. And it just, the atmosphere and the way that he paints is so incredible that we're like, whatever the hell we thought, like, we just gotta get this guy.
It was kind of like when I kind of liken him to like an amazing cinematographer, right? It's like you have this idea and you're like, okay, I've given this and this and that. And his submission was so unique and and different that I wanted to see what he could do, but I didn't know if he could do what, you know, it's like the action and the zombies and stuff.
Yeah.
And at some point I was, you know, you're like, kind of let the artist be the artist. It's like, let the guy do what he's doing. And he comes up with just, he's like, his master shots are just so incredible. And he's like the way he frames things and the way he sets, I've been just absolutely like gobsmacked at how like amazing his interpretation of what I wrote. And it's beautiful. And what she does is she takes those images and then she creates these like little digital movies or things on Instagram, right?
Yeah, we're always trying to show a lot of the work up on Instagram and share our progress. Pablo is so good that we've given him lots of leniency on time.
Yeah.
So
he's not the fastest. So you get good, fast, and what's the third one? Inexpensive. So you get 3, right? So we're going with 2. Fast is not one of them right now.
Yeah, so he's been, but finally he's on the last chapter, and we have no complaints. It looks amazing. So
is it coming out as just one book, or are you going to have?
Yeah, we think so. We kind of like the graphic novel experience better. Like, it always kind of made me mad that like you got issues with cliffhangers that didn't really tied into the next issue. So we have a big respect for like books. It's how we would prefer to print it. And
well, and another thing is like right now the comic book industry and everything's just wacky.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's wacky. Like, we have no idea. It's like, you know, Diamond's kind of right now just like up in the air. You know, it's like the convention circuit has been like cut. So like we're like, all right, Pablo, you can take another month to finish the chapter because we got nowhere to go with it. You know,
he's like, I'm fine. I don't have corona.
So
if it exists, no.
Is Diamond is that going to be your distributor?
Diamond's like the big guy,
the only
distributor for comics and stuff like that. So it's like we have to see if we're going to do like a publisher, and if then how we're going to do that, or if we're going to self-publish. And that's kind of why it's like we got the Instagram and
we really want to stop at a lot of horror conventions as well, because we're already a part of the Slasher app, and like we've really been connecting with a lot of people on there and on Instagram, and the horror community is just so amazing that we want to spend more time with those guys all across the country if we can, if conventions exist anymore.
I'm sure they'll come back. Now, do you still work for Boom Studios?
No, I worked for them a while ago. That was really cool. We did while I was there, we did Planet of the Apes and this cool graphic novel called Key of Z, which is also about zombies. If you ever want to check that out.
So are you guys fans of comic books outside of just making this graphic novel, or?
Yeah, I did. That's what I went to school for. Thanks, Mom. And yeah, we've both been comic fans. I mean, he started in the Army reading comics, and I made that my major, and we watch Watchmen.
Yeah.
We go to some of the DC movies,
Yeah. Well, I really liked some, like 30 Days of Night and some of the horror comics like that, like those Walking Dead. I liked that kind of stuff, and also of course Batman and Wolverine is what got me into comics at in the 90s, to date myself. But yeah, I love the idea. I love the way that you can tell, and I guess this is one of the things we touched on a little earlier, is that you can tell amazingly gigantic stories through comics. Like I think one of my favorite, comic movies, or I guess it's like is the Spider-Verse. That one was like amazing, and it was because it was like really the right type of look for that type of thing, because it's still like physics and all that kind of stuff can be played with a little bit, and it was the way they were able to use colors and all that other stuff. And so for me, I was just really excited on the scale, because like, as being like somebody that's done independent films and stuff, there's a lot of cost cutting, and it's like, I can't have this explosion, so I'm going to blow this Fuller's Earth on the thing, and make it look like, or now I'm going to use After Effects. But in a graphic novel, you can make it look and go as big as you possibly. It's my buddy did a short run of comics called Killbox, and basically it was kind of like an Escape from New York type of a thing. So he's able to make this entire like city, like a kill room, and you can't really do that with a lot of indie films. You got one guy running from, you're like, somebody's coming, hide behind the door, and now it's like feet, that kind of stuff. And so you can do a lot more with a lot less.
You know what I was surprised about, just to get off topic here for a minute, just because something you said, the Mandalorian show, that entire show is filmed on green screen.
Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. They have like virtual sets and stuff. I was like, that's fucking out there.
Yeah.
They started doing this incredible thing where you can, it's all done with like, it was blue screen when they were doing like the Jungle Book, so they can film it, but the director can actually watch the background through the monitor, so he can direct you while you're walking down the road, and then he knows where the sun's supposed to be and where this rock is, as opposed to like when when they did the first three Lucas, or the second three prequel Star Wars movies, where it was green screen and they had no idea where the table was, and they weren't even in an environment. They were just like standing there talking. So it's like, it's such a different process now, because now they can actually see what's going on in the monitor in real time. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, another thing cool too that I learned maybe like yesterday, there's a YouTube channel called, I can't remember what they're called now. I watch them a lot, but I can't remember what it's called because I want to. But apparently with your iPhone, and I believe it was one of the free like editing programs, they were doing that Mandalorian virtual set with it, and I was like, well, that's cool. Yeah. It's already cheap enough for anybody.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's getting so incredible. Yeah, it's getting so incredible. They also they created that for the military, like learning how to clear rooms and stuff like that virtual kind of thing, like going through, because I met some of the guys that actually created it. They were amazing.
That's pretty cool. So Wolverine for you, right? Favorite comic book character?
Wolverine is awesome. I love Batman. But I love me some Wolverine. I think that Wolverine has I give him like a little bit of a pass, because he can heal real fast. So he's almost kind of a little bit, I love him because he keeps getting up. He's just tenacious. Like he's just, he shouldn't keep going. That's what I love about him. But what I love about Batman is that he's a dude, and he's fighting these things that he's got to beat them with less. And even though he has all the gadgets, he doesn't. He has to be smarter and outthink them in some way, shape, or form. He can't just outbrawn them. and that's something that I absolutely think is fascinating. I met the guy who actually got the rights to all the Batman movies, and we were talking. He was out here trying to sell the original, like, Batman with Michael Keaton, and no one wanted it because it was all the old 70s stuff, bam, zoom, or 60s, I think. And so he was out here trying to sell that movie, and no one cared. And he's like, but you don't understand. It's like, it's a dark character. He's trying to figure it out, and the Joker is like the ultimate antagonist. And they're opposing forces. It's not like I'm a giant god and I'm a giant god and now we're gonna fight and we're gonna blow up worlds. And at some point, it's like, I get it, but it's, I start to lose interest because of it's just grandiose as opposed to like morally affecting the story.
You see, Wolverine's also my favorite, and I'm a big fan of Batman also. And another friend of mine, both of our reasons that we both like Batman is anybody can be Batman. Because there's no superpowers involved, so
right.
Nobody else can be Superman.
There's a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
shit ton of money.
That's all you need. Yeah, Emily, who's your favorite comic book character?
Oh, I don't tend to have favorite characters. I tend to have favorite books. So, I just read My Friend Dahmer, which was really good. This guy in the 70s grew up, and one of his friends was Jeffrey Dahmer, and wow. he talks about it, and it's kind of like a journaling type story, and it was really, really interesting.
Isn't that also is that on there's a show, right? A movie, right? Or Netflix or something? I couldn't remember.
Netflix?
I couldn't remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah. Yep. All sorts of comics are getting picked up by Netflix these days.
Yeah. Netflix is going to be, I guess, I guess they're going to lose all the Marvel property, but anyways. Are both of you guys excited for the Snyder Cut?
No. It won't make it any better. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, God. It was so bad. It was just so bad.
And if that's the best HBO Max's get, we're in trouble.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much out of questions. So when is your graphic novel coming out?
We're hoping for next year. We have to finish up the last chapter here, and we got to finish up our lettering. So in the meantime, we're putting updates on our Instagram account.
Yeah, we're looking at some cover art and just all the little details coming together, and we're really absolutely excited about it coming out.
And I'm assuming it's going to be you're going to have physical and digital copies, or
yeah, definly.
Oh yeah. I really want a hardback. I really do.
No, you want one like encased in metal that is also a hardback that like somehow has like
teeth that eat you. Yeah.
Stephen King's signature on it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And my buddy, we're thinking about like trying to come up with like a steel case idea, like for collectors, and we're just it's really exciting. It's just really, really exciting to to have something and it come all the way full circle, and also the way we want it to be done. And that's the other thing about doing it in Hollywood. It's like you sell your script and then somebody's like, all right, I got a pen.
Yeah.
Now it's about now it's like, oh, I got this and I got that. And now it's like, no, Bruce Willis wants to be in it. So no, fuck those people. It's like all that stuff. So it changes it changes so much, and then it gets rewritten, and so this is much more
and you've heard all those Hollywood stories, it took me 10 years, this was like my lifetime project, stuff like that. Like we also like graphic novels because we can actually finish and get it out into the world, and
well, hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Come on, Pablo,
You can do it, buddy.
PayPal and money. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, you didn't do like a campaign, like an Indiegogo or anything like that to raise money for it, or?
Not yet. No, we might do it more as like just like a pre-order campaign.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we would rather have everyone, just come read it.
Yeah, because I my friends that I know, this isn't true. I was gonna make a joke that it's like I don't have any friends that are gonna give me anything. I'm gonna need to go anyway. But it's like I want to have.
I do.
Yeah, exactly. But just to have that thing done, as opposed to like it's an idea. It's like no, it's like here's the book. It's coming out. We got all of the things together, because it took them a long time to do the art. And so we didn't want people to like feel like we gypped them or anything like that, because we just had to wait so long. So we wanted to make sure that we had it almost completed before we did anything like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people on those things, it's like
you never get your thing, or you get it like 5 years later, and
it doesn't. It's only single stitched,
Yeah.
and it's like, it doesn't work, and it's like it falls apart, and then their company's gone, and you're like, that guy's an asshole. Not that that's ever happened.
True story.
All right. So go ahead and plug away with all of
you
wherever you want to find, wherever everybody can find you and information. And I can't wait for it. I'm pretty excited about reading this once it's done.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah,
and,
you
and,
can.
and I think I'm gonna have to get dead stinky animals also.
She's actually doing a coloring book that accompanies this through the perspective of the dog. So one of the characters in this is a service animal, and Oz is like a service animal, and so she created and is doing a coloring book based on his like version of what's happening, and so it's very exciting.
All sorts of fun surprises eventually. Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at The Zombie Game. We tried to keep it simple for everybody. And we're also on Facebook, but Instagram's like our main page. So all our info is on there. You can reach out to us. You can follow all our updates and see the progress on the book.
Yeah, check out the art. It's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, they're taking photographs and just doing something in Photoshop, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
It's pretty cool, man. I mean,
he's amazing.
Yeah, it's the ambiance, and at some point when you actually get to see like the size of like when it's going to be printed, you'll get to see like the depth of field. Like on the Instagram, it's pretty small stuff.
Every time we zoom in, it's incredible.
Yeah, and he's hitting a bunch of Easter eggs in there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find all those.
Yeah, so it's really, I don't know. I feel like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm really tooting Pablo's because he's really, but it's once you see it on scale, you're kind of just the eye, and you're up here. He's doing a page in fisheye.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, a lot of cool like zombie things where like you would also probably like destroy a camera if you tried to film that. So
nice. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. This is gonna be great. Aaron, you got anything to say before we head out of here?
I just want to thank them for coming on and sharing this with us. Like I told you, I love the idea, and I look forward to whatever other ideas that y'all might have and come together. And, I just wish you all the luck. And, we'll be sharing and keeping up with everything you guys do.
Thank you
very
so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us on.
Oh, no problem. We love having people like you guys on here. Like to, if you come back like closer to the release, come back and give us an update on it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks.
Thanks.